How's it going, everyone? Marco Moreno here. Today I'm going to talk about the 7 reasons that made Gordon Ryan the GOAT. After his dominant performance in Abu Dhabi 2022, the biggest no-gi grappling event in the world, where Gordon beat everybody in his division and then went on to submit another great grappler on Andre Galbao with a rear naked choke. There is no doubt now that he's above everybody else. Today I'm going to talk about what I consider are the main reasons that made Gordon Ryan the best grappler. Reason number 1, he started young. He started at age 15 with Jiu-Jitsu, and that is always an advantage. Most of the champions started young. If you think about people like Roger Gracie or the Ruotolo brothers now, many champions started at early age. Some of them as kids, like 5, 10 years old. Gordon started at 15. Now he's I think 27, so he's been training for 12 years. He's at the peak of his physical attributes, and all the mileage that he had learning as a young teenager now pays off when he's at the prime of his physical attributes. It's a great advantage to start early if you want to be the best in the world. The second reason I think made Gordon Ryan go to the top of the sport is his work ethic.
What makes Gordon Ryan so dominant? He just won his most recent match in 10 seconds, going on to the finals again.
He trains something like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when you work that hard, the results are going to show.
He talks about how he trains every day. He trains Monday to Sunday. He doesn't have days off. And he's been talking about in different interviews that he knows of champions that still see Jiu-Jitsu as a hobby.
Most of the guys that compete at the highest levels train less than some of the hobbyists I know. Like they do like 4 or 6 week camps, then they do an ADCC, and they take 2 months where they just don't train at all. Like not training for 2 months is like the most insane thing ever. Like, this is your job. Like, they don't treat it like a job, they treat it like a hobby.
Gordon took his training as a professional, and he just dedicated 100%. He recently had a post on Instagram after Abu Dhabi that he was taking a vacation, and after 10 years he never took a real vacation where he is not training on the mats. And of course it's well deserved now after his win at Abu Dhabi, but that goes to tell you how much this guy works and train, and is just fully dedicated to master the art and to become the best. The third reason that I believe made Gordon Ryan the best is Garry Tonon.
Because I programmed him that way.
Gary,
I told him every time somebody says good job, you just think in your head, you fucking suck.
what you're
Sorry.
doing right now,
First thing
it's
I've done.
verbal abuse, and he shouldn't have to take this. You guys should go to therapy about this.
The therapy is me getting beat up by Gary.
Gordon Ryan met Garry Tonon when he was training at Ton de Blas school, and Garry Tonon at the time was already a seasoned athlete. He was doing Abu Dhabi trials and Abu Dhabi also the main event, and he was the one who talked to Gordon Ryan to take the sport more seriously, and he was motivating him to train more often. He was the one who told him to train 7 days a week. Garry Tonon was a mentor for him. He took Gordon under his wing. Garry Tonon took Gordon Ryan to New York and introduced him to John Danaher. And in these trips where they were training in New Jersey, they are from New Jersey, Garry Tonon covered all the expenses to make it to the city, tolls, gas, all the expenses that requires going from New Jersey to New York City. Garry Tonon covered them for Gordon Ryan, to the point that was Garry Tonon who gave Gordon Ryan his black belt. Gordon Ryan is a black belt under Garry Tonon and John Danaher. So I think this was a fundamental piece for Gordon Ryan to become the best.
Okay, guys, we're here today. John Danaher, huge honor for me as always.
The fourth reason why I think Gordon Ryan is the best grappler in the world is knowing and meeting John Danaher.
It's a pretty good statement to say that you're the best ever. How the fuck does that happen?
So I'm gonna go ahead and give credit to John. I don't think that without John, I would be where I am right now, and I don't think that I would have gotten this good in this amount of time.
Everybody knows now that John Danaher is one of the best Jiu-Jitsu coaches, MMA coaches in the world.
We've just described Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as a 4-step system. It's beautiful, it's elegant, and it's deadly effective. Step number 1, take the fight to the ground. Take away the danger of explosive kinetic energy. Step number 2, get past his dangerous legs. Step number 3, work your way through a hierarchy of pins, each one graded upon your ability to harm your opponent with strikes on the ground, and set up step number 4, submissions.
John Danaher is considered a genius. He breaks down techniques. He's an innovator. He's a motivator.
Most days are not monumental, they're mundane. So on every one of these mundane days, we have to take one small little gem that happened. It may not be very big, something small, and add that to your performance tomorrow. And if we can do this over 10 years, something truly remarkable can happen.
It was John Danaher who started innovating and teaching Gordon all the systems that he was creating, and Gordon Ryan recognized this in his interviews. Gordon Ryan said that he owes everything to meeting John Danaher. John Danaher has been a coach, a mentor, a friend for Gordon Ryan, and having a world-class genius teaching you and being able to absorb all those innovations and those techniques made Gordon Ryan an absolutely beast on the mat. Reason number 5 that made Gordon Ryan the GOAT is, this one will surprise you. It was Metamoris. Why Metamoris? Metamoris was a revolutionary event back in 2012, because until that point, of course, there were Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, mostly with the GI, IBJJF was putting on big tournaments, and Abu Dhabi as well. But Metamoris created a high production event in 2012, where he just put a mat, created trailers for the band, started telling stories, got rid of the point system. It was just submission only events where anybody can watch those matches without knowing the point systems. It was just, in a way, going back to the origins of the UFC. Metamoris, the rule was submission only. You either submit the guy or otherwise it's just gonna be a draw. So that caught a lot of attention in the Jiu-Jitsu community, and he invited just pro athletes and started paying them good money. Of course, after a couple of years, Metamoris went down. They were not making the money, but a lot of other entrepreneurs took that idea, and one of them was Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo, shortly after he competed in Metamoris, where he fought Royler Gracie for the second time, he went on and to create the Eddie Bravo Invitational, which he fixed the mistakes from Metamoris and just started creating his own version. He tweaked some rules, and the Eddie Bravo Invitational became a huge success, along with other no-gi submission only events like Polaris. And this was a very important factor because in the one of the events, I think is the 6th event of the Eddie Bravo Invitational, Gordon Ryan went and won. He was, I believe, a late replacement, and he went and defeated everybody. I think it was the absolute division. And all of a sudden, that was the breakthrough for him. He started making more of these events, of course, getting paid good money to win. He started making a name for himself.
April of 2016, almost a year and a half, Gordon Ryan has completely dominated the sub-only game.
It is done. Gordon Ryan is the EBI Absolute Champion. As a middleweight title, now the welterweight king, Gordon the King Ryan. He was a last-minute replacement.
And then from there, you all know the story. He went on to win Abu Dhabi, the IBJJF no-gi, but I think just the boom of the no-gi submission grappling events for professionals really motivated Gordon to keep training and become the greatest of all time. The 6th reason that made Gordon Ryan the best grappler in no-gi is his body type.
A tall but lanky person, and that height I've always felt was one of his biggest advantages, and that meant that he had a tremendous propensity to go into things like body triangles, senkaku or triangle attacks from bottom position, etc., etc.
Gordon Ryan is tall, he's a big guy, but he also moves like a light guy. He can invert, he's flexible, and that helps a lot to win absolutes. If you guys notice, for absolute Abu Dhabi, the champions usually are the big guys. Absolute division is where anybody can enter that weight class, the absolute. So you see sometimes light guys entering in there and doing pretty well, but it's the big guys who usually win the absolute division in Abu Dhabi, and the winner of the absolute is considered the best grappler. I'll give you an example. Marcelo Garcia is considered pound for pound the best no-gi grappler. That was before Gordon Ryan, for sure. But Marcelo never won the Abu Dhabi absolute division because I think he made a good run in 2007 where he got second place. He got submitted in the finals. As always, the light guys usually don't make it to the top of the absolute division. Gordon did it. He's a big guy. He put on more muscle, but at the same time is his long legs and his ability to just invert and be flexible and get into positions that usually only small guys do. And I think having that body type helped Gordon Ryan be the best.
It affected me zero. I don't fight with emotion, That's part of the reason why I'm so good. So I was just laughing it off, and he came out way too aggressive. He was shaking. He was so tense. So I was like,
And the seventh reason I consider made Gordon Ryan the GOAT is his mind. He has a tough mind. A couple of years ago, he announced his retirement because he had a stomach issue. But he fought to recover and just waited, and he was patient enough to make a comeback. So that speaks a lot about his toughness. When Andre Galbao confronted him in the backstage in now infamous incident with Andre Galbao, Gordon Ryan didn't shy from Galbao and slapped him twice in the face without respect that Galbao was a more seasoned champion. So that tell you how tough Gordon Ryan is. When he goes to compete, he has extreme confidence in his ability. The guy is super cool under pressure. He doesn't let people get in his mind. I will recommend you to go and watch the fight or the match with Cyborg Abreu, not the Abu Dhabi one. They had another match, it's in YouTube, where Cyborg just starts slapping Gordon as a way of like clinching, like a collar tie, but one of those aggressive ones, many times, repeatedly. And Gordon never overreacted. He smiled a couple of times and didn't let that affect his mind, and eventually Cyborg got disqualified for that. Same thing in the last match with Andre Galbao. Andre Galbao kind of slapped him there, same thing when doing collar ties, and Gordon wasn't affected by it. He kept going, he smiled, and he kept going. So the guy is really hard to get under his skin. And apparently, according to his coach John Danaher, Gordon Ryan has an extraordinary memory that allows him to remember countless techniques, even techniques that John Danaher forgot. Gordon Ryan is able to remember them.
He has an ability to recall information that is extraordinary compared with other people in the room. So that's definitely a big part of it.
So a strong mind, tough, confident, to work hard, and to push himself too. There were matches that Gordon brought in an envelope. I'm gonna finish this guy with a triangle, and he went in there and just wasn't satisfied with just winning. He had to win with a triangle. The guy is never satisfied. For him, is always more. As you can see in the last Abu Dhabi, he could have just competed in the super fight, but he wanted to push himself more by doing his weight division and then doing the super fight. So that goes to tell you how tough his mind is, how focused he is, and how strong his determination is to be the best. At the same time, he's a controversial figure.
You guys better step your fucking game up because the level of jiu-jitsu is fucking pathetic.
And he's not intimidated by the spotlight. He actually gets energized by the crowds, by the lights, and the guy just is a superstar when all the cameras are on him. And I think that's what made him the best no-gi grappler.
Everything I do, it's based on his schedule. If he trains, I train. If he don't train, I don't train. If he's traveling, if he's teaching, I follow him like his schedule. Everything he does, I do. If he decides to take a day off, I pray to God. I was like, oh, thank you, it's a day off today. But besides that, everything is based on his schedule for sure.
Nathalia Santoro has been dating Gordon Ryan for a few years now. She's a fitness model, a former bodybuilder. She trains and competes in Jiu-Jitsu as well, having earned her brown belt recently by John Danaher. Gordon Ryan recognized that she is a fundamental part of his success, since not only she takes care of the house chores, but she is the main coach for Gordon Ryan strength and conditioning, and she's the one that oversees Gordon Ryan's diet. You can also see her as his main partner in the instructional videos. So having such a strong and critical support by Nathalia has definitely contributed to Gordon Ryan's success, to the point that he has said that without her he will stop competing. So what do you think, guys? These are my 7 reasons. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I would love to hear in the comments. Do you have more reasons that you consider made Gordon Ryan become the best no-gi grappler in the world? I will invite you guys to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. Again, this is Marco Moreno. I'll catch you in the next one.